We made an intro.
We did. And we do have to read our intro, though, for the first couple times. So feel free to laugh at us.
That's right.
Babe, take it away.
Okay, welcome to Biohacking Wellness, where we teach you how to make small changes to your lifestyle and diet so you can make incremental changes and improvements in your health and well-being. In other words, it's do-it-yourself biology.
Right. It's time to face the reality that our current medical system is broken and overpriced and has no idea how to manage chronic illness. The answers they provide will leave you sick and bankrupt. We are here to empower you to take back your own health.
Boom. Now we just need some music.
Right? Today's episode is sponsored by one of our favorite products called Immunozyme. Immunozyme is made by US Enzymes, and it was actually put together by a good friend of mine. He's known as Dr. Autoimmune on TikTok. Dr. Ian Holloman, he's in Colorado, has a big following of immune system people, or autoimmune people. And he developed this particular product, and I like it because it's like a multivitamin for your immune system. So not only does it have the vitamin D, the specific vitamin D3 that we're going to talk about today, but they also include vitamin A, vitamin K12, alpha lipoic acid, and some very solid probiotics. So it's an awesome product. We're going to leave some information in the comment section or in the description for you. But you have to understand, when we talk about products, we're talking about products you can't just buy online. If you go find them on Amazon, you're probably finding a fake. So the products that we talk about, yes, they're available online. That's the good news. The bad news is you do have to take a couple of steps if you want to find them and purchase them. I'll leave you all of the description, all of the instructions on how to do it. You have to actually sign up under me because not everybody can sell. You can't just buy these from anybody. So I'll give you a link, follow the instructions. It'll take you to this particular product, and you can check out Immunozyme for ourselves. It's something we take. We shift from vitamin D3 about October, November time frame to Immunozyme and take that until the spring. So,
unless you're me, I just take it all the time.
So that's what I do. So today we're going to talk about a couple blog posts that we did last week. One of them was specifically about vitamin D in the sun, and the other one is about this topic of grounding. So that's the direction we're going to go in this. Not the other one. The next one's coming up are 12 steps to de-stress the holidays, and then 12 gift ideas for the holidays that involve natural health and healing. So that's what's coming up. I was ahead of myself, but now we've got the notes for it. So let's talk about let's talk about sunshine. Okay, the sun has, for whatever reason, been villainized. The sun's been here since the dawn of man. Yet just in the last couple decades are we all of a sudden afraid of the sun, that it's going to cause cancer and all these other health detriments.
Right. I'm pretty sure our generations ago weren't hunting and gathering with umbrellas and sun SPF clothing, right. and they weren't dying of skin cancer. So.
I would like to see, even going back early 1900s, we don't necessarily need to talk about cavemen dying of sun exposure, because they were going to die of getting eaten by something or starvation. But even I'd like to see the incidence of skin cancer back in the early 1900s. I think for our parents' generation, we had a massive increase in the amount of sugars and fake sugars that we're now consuming, and all these other lifestyle things that are now part of our prevalent environment. And all of a sudden, skin cancer is an issue. Now people are terrified of the sun.
Right.
So even, it's like we were out for our morning walks while we were in Hawaii, and we're going to talk about that a lot today because we just had such a.
We did a relaxation vacation instead of a busy go vacation.
We treated it like a resort, and it was awesome. But I think our morning sun routine was a big part of that.
Right.
So. Let's talk about vitamin D for a minute, and then let's talk about some safe ways to get that morning sun, and then we'll transition into the grounding aspect of it. If you unless you live south of Florida, vitamin D is going to be an issue. right? If you're eating a whole food diet, you're going to consume plenty of vitamin D, and then what the sun does is it actually helps your body to convert vitamin D into a usable form that you can actually use. Okay, this is all lined out for you in the blog post, but essentially the sun hits your skin, creates melanin. Melanin helps convert vitamin D3 to something your body can actually use, and then your liver finishes the job and you get vitamin D. So the importance of this is vitamin D is actually a building block to a lot of your hormones. Okay? It's also a building block to cholesterol. Cholesterol is another one of those things that's been vilified forever. Doctors get excited when your cholesterol levels are, in the 150 ranges, but the reality is cholesterol below 150 is actually detrimental to your health. Your chances of chronic disease actually triples. So you have to have vitamin D to make cholesterol. You have to have vitamin D to make cholesterol so that you can actually make nerves and neurons and the sheath that goes around your nerves. It's absolutely essential to health. You have to have vitamin D for bone health. You have to have vitamin D for immune health. It's a great immune system regulator. So people that have autoimmune conditions are already going to have low vitamin D levels because their body uses it up quickly. Am I driving the point home here? I'm rambling.
We got it.
You have to have vitamin D, so you have to consume it. Hey, in the blog post,
You did leave out emotional health.
Emotional health, it's huge.
I mean, it builds serotonin.
I left out emotional health. You have to get it. Okay? And for our environment where we live here in Idaho, we have to supplement with it to get enough.
Right.
Literally everyone here is deficient in vitamin D, and you frankly just have to have enough. Okay? So one of the reasons why we felt so good when we were in Hawaii was because of our morning routine.
Right.
So walk us through what we were doing.
Okay. So first, I guess this isn't sunlight, right? But first rays of dawn breaking is key to your circadian rhythm. So we were up half an hour roughly before sunrise outside. So you're getting first morning light, which set up for the whole week, right? Because we definitely got on a wake-sleep cycle that was not with an alarm or anything like that. So waking up, the moon was out, it was still bright, and then we actually were out at sunrise. By the time the sun was halfway rising, it was warm. Mm-hmm. So we could shed quite a bit of clothing, which kind of like your body, I always think it's like a solar panel. So I think when we look at people walking around with the famous sun shirts that have the SPF in it or whatever, that are long sleeve, and people in hats and sunglasses and all these things, but they're blocking the sun. So as much skin as we could expose. So that meant sports bra for me, no shirt for you, shorts, and barefoot, right? So no sunglasses. So as much skin, so think of your solar panel. Then you have all this surface area to absorb sunlight, which you actually need the rays that everybody tries to block with clothing or sunscreen. If you're blocking them, you can't produce vitamin D.
Right.
So you need time, and you're not going to get a sunburn at 7 a.m.
Right.
So I am very fair-skinned. So if you're watching this on video, you can see I'm a fair-skinned person. But I'm not going to sunburn at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. There's even apps you can get that show you when the UV rays are harmful or most bright. I'm not going to sit in direct sunlight at 12 p.m.
Right.
But prior to 9 a.m., I was fine. After a certain time, again, I was fine. So it's shade during times of direct sunlight and full exposure during that morning sun. And so we would walk. We did classes outside on the beach. So yoga on the beach, or HIIT or boot camp classes. We did buns and guns one time. But we're outside barefoot in the grass or sand. And then we did our walking. But so basically from 6 to 8:30, we were outside, sunlight, and as little clothing as possible.
I would add that we didn't even start taking protective measures until 11.
Right.
So we'd go do our exercise routine. We'd go for our walk. which our walks were funny. They started out with shoes, and then
And
a
then we were
couple
like,
days
what are
in,
we
like,
doing?
what? We're here at the ocean. Let's lose the shoes.
Right.
And so we ended up like walking barefoot on the beach and through the grass and through the sand, not on the little pathway thing that was there.
And swimming in the ocean.
And it was, yeah, and swimming. That was. We'll talk about that, about the grounding part of that, which there's some funny videos of us diving in, but we would not sunscreen until 10 or 11.
Right.
And then with the appropriate sunscreen, which most of the stuff that you buy off the shelf, good night. There are actually ingredients in those sunscreens that cause the type of cancer that the people who make the sunscreen sell the chemo for. So
That's another rabbit hole.
We'll instead of going down that rabbit hole, I'll just leave you a link to the one that we like.
Or you can just be in shade.
Or
So
just
there
be in
were
shade.
days that we just sat under an umbrella and you didn't have to put sunscreen on at all.
Yeah.
So
But our focus there was to get as much sun as we can, so we
During
can
the
come
safe
back
hours.
into the wintry Hoff planet of Idaho. It was a goal of mine to come back tan, and the purpose of that was vitamin D.
right. And I will say, here in Idaho, like during the summer, like it is still possible to do this type of thing. Our neighbors look at us weird, but like we walk in our neighborhood with as little clothing on as possible. It's much colder.
Right.
But we still, I know on mornings when the sun's up in summer, it's getting, your solar panel.
Right. So we can't do that right now.
No.
But we do make sure that our faces are exposed. When we go, we have dogs, so we walk our dogs about 2 miles every day. We do it in the morning as the sun's coming up. We do not wear sunglasses. So there is still ways to do it and get some sun. It's just
Not going to be enough.
not as efficient. So supplement up. There's also some stuff about infrared lights. And I'll put a link again to some infrared lights that are available on Amazon for not a lot of money that will help
Right.
during the winter months.
That lasts for 8.
Yeah. So let's shift gears and talk about grounding. We're kind of rattling on here, keeping it. This one's going to be a little longer than we normally do. Grounding, or sometimes called earthing, which is literally just making physical contact with the earth.
And it can be, it doesn't have to, you don't have to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like you can literally go outside your house, put your feet in the grass for 5 minutes. You can get your morning sun with your feet in the grass.
So
And-
on the blog post, go into a lot more detail about the science behind grounding and earthing. Basically, you're transferring electrons from the earth to you. And you're doing it at a frequency that lightning strikes the earth at 7.83 hertz, so 7.83 times every is that minute or seconds? I can't remember. I think it's every second.
I would say seconds.
It's called Schumann's resonance. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole, look into Schumann's resonance. But basically, you're taking that Schumann resonance and applying it to your body by making contact with the ground, swimming in natural bodies of water. Rigby Lake is not a natural body of water. You can do it through house plants. There's grounding mats available. So if you live in an urban environment, there's things you can still do, like growing natural plants in your house and touching them. You can ground that way. But it's calming. And you can literally feel.
You can feel it. Your nervous
and
system.
And I'm sure you felt it too. So like when you go to the beach and you're sitting at the beach and you just feel relaxed and chill, it's not just because you're sitting there.
Yeah, I think we sometimes think like it's because like I'm not in my work environment or I'm away from home, which yes is true, but there's actually a natural element to it. It's not just that you're on vacation, right? Go on vacation somewhere that's not the beach, and I think you'll notice a difference, right? Like there is something about the ocean, the sand, all of that stuff that you need.
Amen.
It was a noticeable nervous system.
Right, and it seemed like once we got over whatever it is we were getting over, started getting in the ocean every day, that just seemed to ramp it up. And
Right. It was good. It's like natural mood stabilizer too. You know, like
100%.
I would say that for the vitamin D or the sunlight and grounding. It's yes, we need vitamin D for strong bones, which I don't think people think about. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to everyone thinks it's calcium. Right? I mean, I think sometimes it's like, I need to drink my milk so that I can have strong bones.
Right.
It's like, actually, I need the sun. Who knew?
And vitamin D to actually absorb the calcium, and not to mention the phosphorus content of milk that makes it so you can't absorb the.
Right. Just so many
We could go on and on about that.
misguidances. But basically, sunlight, bare feet.
Yep. So again, these are challenging things for us in the winter. Find little ways.
Right.
These warmer mornings.
I know we've been lucky right now. So you could still get barefoot in your grass for 5 minutes right now because it's not frozen yet. Shocking. But talked to my niece last night. She's in Alaska and they have 29 inches of snow. So she's probably not going to be grounding in the grass right now. I think that's when some people get a little bit upset about the grounding mats or those things and think like it's like fake or like it's, why do I have to buy all these things? It's like, because we can't take advantage of what's naturally given to us unless we lived in Hawaii or we don't all live in a climate that's conducive to that.
Right.
So that's when you have to have your red light therapy or your grounding mats or things like that. Like it's just that's the little biohack to get you through winter.
Yep. Again, they're just small, incremental changes, make a big difference years from now. So what we would say is, if you want to make a big difference for yourself 10 years from now, start making these little changes right now. So we'll leave you all the links. Everything you'll need will be in the description. Put it in the blog post as well. So it'll be there.
Time.
See you next time.